Coming up this week on the Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show, a tour of some of the best fisheries in America as we look back at last season and bring you the highlights of the tournaments we covered, the waters, the strategies, and all the fun. Stay tuned. The Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show begins right now.
The Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show.
Thanks for joining us. You know, each and every week we have the privilege of going all over the country to cover these beautiful fisheries and great tournaments week in and week out. But this week, we're kind of doing a best of, looking back at what a great season it's been and what a great year it's been. And joining us on this grand finale show, so to speak, is Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Andy Montgomery, who doesn't live too far from our headquarters here outside of Charlotte. And you know, Andy, fishing the Elite Series now for several years, and FLW prior to that, you fished so many of these lakes. And one of the first lakes we're going to get to show everybody some great highlights is Douglas and Cherokee up in East Tennessee. We had a Bassmaster Open up there. We had a Snag Proof Open. We had Tom's Marine Team Trail fish, a lot of those. Talk to us quickly about 2 or 3 patterns that you count on when you fish those Eastern Tennessee fisheries, Douglas and Cherokee.
It's a swim bait. I mean, a swim bait's just huge in that part of the country. And now we've seen the umbrella rigs, you know, the Alabama rigs kind of evolve. And that's what won the Southern Open on Douglas. And I actually fished a PAA event there the week before that was dominated by the umbrella rig, the Alabama rig. And, you know, they put a variety of swim baits on, the Strike King Shadowlicious. You know, the one thing about East Tennessee, you can only throw 3 hooks. So a lot of guys are throwing dummies with no hooks, and they're really, you know, trying to play them with their umbrella rigs to figure out which bait they want to put a hook in so the fish will actually bite one that's got a hook in it. But definitely a swim bait, and as we've seen over the last couple of years, the umbrella rig has just evolved to, you know, it's just dominant in that part of the country right now.
He's been putting 20 pounds a day on the scales. He's got a big bag again today. 19 pounds, 11 ounces. We have a new leader. Looking for 18 pounds, 5 ounces. Get him to settle down there. 22 pounds, 2 ounces. Patrick Bone has just won the Bass Pro Shop Bassmaster Southern Open. Patrick Bone, 65 pounds and 4 ounces. How do you feel about fishing down in Gunnersville in February?
You know, if we could throw an Alabama rig there, it'd be pretty fun.
I don't think they're going to let you do that. You're going to have to make some calls on that, and I doubt it's going to happen.
You know, Gunnersville's an absolute fishery. You know, Alabama rig or not, they're gonna smash them. You know,
you're gonna smash him, man. You're gonna be there. He just qualified for the 2014 Bassmaster Classic on Lake Gunnersville.
You know, I've dreamed about making the Classic my whole life.
It's good. It's just happened, man. All I got to have you do is show up and fish your first 2 days at minimum of Logan Martin. You think you can do that for me?
Yeah, you can probably saw a leg off and I'll be there. You know, I tell you, golly, there's a lot of sponsors I can thank, and I'll probably forget everybody, but, you know, first and foremost, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that is key, too, right there. I mean, you will find the best of these best anglers. They have a great support system behind them at home because you can't do it without them.
No, you can't. You know, I'm on the road a bunch, and I'm just trying to get started. You know, I'm not a veteran at this, and, you know, I'm trying to get there. I want to do it full time, you know, and Lord willing, it'll happen. But, you know, I drive home tonight, you know, and I still work for a living. I got to work on Monday, and then I leave Tuesday to drive to Arkansas to fish a tournament. So, you know, my wife, she stands behind me good.
Hey folks, Richard McMaster here, Tom's Marine Team Trail in Dandridge, Tennessee on beautiful Douglas Lake. Lake water is real full here. It's actually above full. They caught a lot of fish today. Fishing's been real good on Douglas Lake. It's been taking several 20-pound bags to win a lot of tournaments. Jigging spoons and Carolina rigs are your dominant things going on right now. They're catching them in 40, the 45 foot of water on 10XDs, 6XDs. It's going to take probably 14, 15 pounds to get in the money. We had 99 boats showed up today. Our tournament trail's done real good. It's been real strong. That's a real good turnout. I appreciate everybody for coming out.
Looks like 3 pounds is separating from way back in the pack to the leaders. Less than an ounce is separating the first 2 teams. I know this morning there was a top water bite. There was quite a few fish come off frogs this morning, and then as the sun came up and heated up, the fish moved out a little bit, and they started going deeper with the jigs. Conditions has been pretty good today, so overall I think it was a great day.
Coming up after the break, we're going to head to Texas and Cedar Creek Lake for what was a great tournament put on down there by the Texas Team Trail. Stay with us.
The Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show. This portion sponsored by Progressive Insurance, a leader in boat insurance. Sponsored by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by Evinrude Outboards. Get from the water to the trophy stand in record time.
Welcome back inside the Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Studios, and we're going to head down to Texas and Cedar Creek Lake. What was a great tournament put on by the Texas Team Trail. Andy, you love Texas lakes. Tell us why.
You know, the Texas Parks and Wildlife is just phenomenal with what they do. They have a share lunker program where if you catch one over 13 pounds, you call them, they come pick it up in their aquarium, they keep it alive, they give you a replica mount, pay for it, and then they take them fish over 13 pounds, have little ones, they breed the 13-pounders, restock them, so now we got big fish stocked in the Texas lake. That's the reason it's one of the #1 big bass states in the country.
Let's take a look. Cedar Creek Lake, the 4th largest lake in Texas with over 320 miles of shoreline, is located just an hour southeast of Dallas-Fort Worth. And this year, we covered the Texas Team Trail, and the action was fantastic.
We're at Cedar Creek Lake here in Texas, down by Athens, Texas. It's the last TXTT event of the year before the championship, and we were fortunate enough to draw boat #1 today, so we're all excited, ready to get out there and go fishing. It's real cloudy right now. Wind's probably blowing close to 20 miles an hour, gusty, but should make them more active, make them hopefully feed all day long so we can do what we like to do and run and gun. I got that one. He ain't that big. Yes! You're in, ain't you? Well, that don't matter. That's just, you're right. All my rod's in, that's all that matters. You know, we knew coming into this morning it was going to be real key to catch a couple good ones early. With the fish up feeding, some shad are still spawning a little bit, and you know, we're fortunate enough to draw boat #1 and get out here, and man, right off the bat had a big one just jump all over top water. Knocked it out of the water, never did get a hold of it. I mean, he was sure enough a good one. And then caught a couple decent fish, and then caught one good one, 4 or 5 pounder. And that's a big, big key to get one of them good ones first thing, and just try to add to it the rest of the day. Got him? I got him. Man, take that right now. Take that full deal.
Traveling all over the country, there's so many beautiful places I go, but St. John's in Palatka, Florida is at the top of my list.
Yeah, Andy, you know, we try to make a special trip every year to the St. Johns River in Palatka, Florida for the Wolfson Children's Hospital Tournament. And there's 2 reasons we love to go. One, it's a great cause. You know, they support the Wolfson Children's Hospital, and they've raised over $1 million down there over the last 24 years. And the other reason is the St. John's fishery is fantastic. Tell us quickly why you like that fishery.
You know, it's just incredible. You got so many options. You got Lake George. You can just go so far. You can go back towards Jacksonville, so you can kind of fish with a city setting, or you can go down around Lake George, and it's kind of a wilderness setting. You know, you see a lot of alligators, just a tremendous amount of wildlife, And as always in Florida, you know, the next cast could be a 10-pounder.
That's right. You know, the one piece of trivia question a lot of people don't know about the St. Johns River, it's the only river that flows upstream.
That's right.
So I've got Justin Bennett here with a whopper of a bass and a wonderful sack. You caught that cranking out there on the river?
Yeah, running up and down, fishing ledges and drops, throwing crankbaits, Carolina rig.
Golly, folks, that's what the St. Johns River can produce in May right there. Good job, Justin. What do you think is going through that fish's mind right now?
I do not know.
You don't know I don't know what he was thinking to eat a rubber worm in the first place, man. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever caught a bass?
No.
Yeah, well, they're all still waiting for you, man. You got a lot of time left, don't you?
Yeah.
I got Sonia Fitzgerald, wife of Trevor Fitzgerald, just a wonderful tournament fisherman down here. Came close to winning this thing last year. You think he's about to do it here today?
Hopefully. I think so. He has about 22 pounds, and he thinks he has like a 9-pound fish.
I got Trevor Fitzgerald here. We just talked to your wife, Sonia. She kind of spilled the beans, man. She said you got a good sack.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know. I think we got probably 22 pounds or something like that. We got one real big one. I can't tell how big she is, either 8 or 9. So it should be pretty good. It'll be close.
22. You want to know what's leading right now?
How much?
22.6 with a dead fish penalty of about a half pound. 22.1.
It'd be close. We had 23 last year and lost by 2 ounces. So let's hope that doesn't happen again.
22.68 pounds, 22.68. Wow, you're going to see their names on the top of the leaderboard. I'm sorry, dude. 23.18 pounds. We got another new leader. 23.18. Give me a slide 5 way up there.
What does it take today to put together a 23.6 pound sack? How did you do that?
I kind of got lucky. I found one, the big ones yesterday on the bed, and then I went back today and just stumbled across the other one. And I caught all of them on the bed today.
All of them sight fishing?
All of them.
You're watching the Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show, presented by Progressive, a leader in boat insurance. This portion has been sponsored in part by your local Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitters, and by Strike King Lures, makers of the KVD line of jerkbaits. Go to StrikeKing.com.
Thanks and welcome back. You know, each and every year, this is our 4th year with the Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show. We couldn't do what we do and bring you all these great highlights from all these tournaments around the country without our great sponsors. And Andy's in the same situation as he's traveling, 30 some odd weeks a year at all these tournaments. Our sponsors, specifically Progressive Insurance here in the Progressive Bass Studios, has been phenomenal. And all of our other sponsors that we work with, Andy, you and I share a few. Ranger, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Strike King are all mutual sponsors. We obviously have Evinrude, Snag Proof, and just everybody that's been involved with us has been with us for a while. And obviously, we're more than appreciative because it allows us to bring what we think is a very unique product to all the anglers around the country. Each and every week, we bring you the Sportsman's Warehouse Product Spotlight, brought to you by Strike King Lure Company. Most of these product tips were shot, oddly enough, with Andy Montgomery up on Kentucky Lake at the Riders Conference. And Andy, what a great lake.
Yeah, the Riders Conference on Kentucky Lake is just a great deal. Paris, Tennessee, Kentucky Lake's one of the best lakes in the country, and it's just a good time to get together with all the outdoor riders, and all the Strike King pros are there. So, there's a lot of knowledge in the fishing industry gathers at one place.
Absolutely.
The 4-day tournaments we fish, a bladed swim jig, it'll hold up for 4 days. I mean, you may not catch every single fish on it, but I've had some really close calls with the Pure Poison on actually winning national tournaments. I almost won the Toyota Texas Bass Classic. It's definitely a bite that you can ride for 4 days. Not necessarily fishing the same area. You may have to change areas. I like to run patterns, and if you get on a pattern, you can run new water and make it last for 4 days. Grass, you can get in a good grass bed and catch them for 4 days on the bladed swim jig. I've done it at Potomac. I've had some really good tournaments at the Potomac where I've caught them pretty much every day on a bladed swim jig. So, it's definitely a bait that you can ride for 4 days if they're biting it. it's so versatile. You know, the pure poison, you can fish it deep, shallow, suspended fish. It's just, you know, the possibilities are endless on what you can do with this bait. And then, you know, I'm gonna go back to it, and I can't emphasize enough is how you can just simply change the trailer and have a new bait. It all goes back to the trailer. Changing the trailer gives you a new bait and gives you a lot of different situations, different circumstances that you can use the bait.
Let's continue our tour across the country and head west to Grand Lake in Oklahoma, where we had two huge events this year, starting out with the Bassmaster Classic in February and the FLW Tour later in the year.
Here we go. Fish number one is a good one. On day one, Jason Christie led with 21 pounds and 12 ounces. Day two, he backed it up with 18 pounds and 14 ounces. Yesterday, 17 pounds and 10 ounces. In 3 days, he's amassed 58 pounds and 4 ounces of Grand Lake of the Cherokee bass. That is number three. He needs 14 pounds and 8 ounces to dethrone the Chevy Pro Brian Thrift. You've got 3 good ones in there so far, 3 good ones. But you're gonna need 4 and possibly 5. If you've got a limit, let's see them. Okay? Here we go. Does he have 4 and 5? A 5! For the Wrapup Pro, Jason Christie. Wow! That's what you call getting it done, man. Well, let's just make it official. Number 4 goes in, number 5 goes in. Here we go. You needed 14 pounds and 8 ounces. Your limit today, work. 19 pounds, 13 ounces. Your champion is Jason Christie. Wow!
There's plenty more when we return right after this.
The Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show, presented by Progressive, a leader in boat insurance. Sponsored by Snagproof, creators of the original frog. By Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. By Evinrude Outboards. By your local Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. And by Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing lures.
Welcome back to the Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Studios, and Andy Montgomery just finished year 3 on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Andy, in a nutshell, quickly tell us about what were the highlights of your year. I know it started out a little bit slow, but towards the end you got some momentum and picked things up.
Yeah, it just started out really bad for me, and you know, I'm pretty proud of the way I responded. I fished good at the end of the year, had some good tournaments. You know, I didn't make a top 12 this year. First year I didn't do that, but I did finish 13th and 20th. So, you know, I was right there the second half of the year. Just dug myself too big of a hole in the first half of the year. So, really proud of how I responded. And we went to some great lakes. You know, we went all the way from Texas to New York, upstate New York. So I've been all over the country. So it was a good year, fun. Caught a lot of fish, a lot of big smallmouth, a lot of big largemouth.
Well, one thing Andy's always said about fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series is there's no margin for error.
No.
You have one bad day, and it's really tough to crack a top 20 in one of those events.
That's exactly right. You know, the level of competition is just so high in the Elite Series, and the margin for error is just so small. One lost fish here, you know, one culling mistake here or there. It just, you know, ounces separate guys that make the Classic and guys that don't make the Classic.
You know, Andy, there's so many great lakes and fisheries across the country that we covered this year. We want to look back at some of these great venues.
423. You are going to win this out.
We hope you've enjoyed the tour of this past season across all the great fisheries and lakes that we've covered. We want to thank Andy Montgomery for being a co-host with us today, and we really look forward to next season. Andy, what's in store for you?
Definitely the Elite Series next year, and you know, I may try to fish the FLW. I'm not sure yet, but this fall, you know, we're really busy in the fall. This is the time of year we're getting our contracts together, we're getting our boats ordered, getting our boats ready for next year, and got some Rider Conference, Strike King Riders Conference. I know you guys will be there again. That's in October again at Kentucky Lake. So it's a busy, believe it or not, it's a busy time of year for us too, and just getting ready for next season.
Well, we thank you for joining us from the Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Studios here in North Carolina. We thank you for watching. We'll see you next year.